Welcome to Happy News Network, the Minisode. We're here to brighten your day while you take a break from doom scrolling. I'm Shayna. And back in season 1, episode 16, Kristen told us about an inspirational dad. Michael Gardner created Daddy Dressed Me as a way to bond with his daughter, Ava. We are so grateful that Michael's here today. Michael, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for being here today. So, could you tell us a little bit about how Daddy Dressed Me started?
Sure. So, when I became a dad, trying to navigate what to do, and just the type of dad that I wanted to be, I've always been creative since I was a kid. So, when Ava was 3, I was trying to figure out what would be the best and possibly the most fun way to kind of bond with her. Um, she has a cool, kind of funny, sassy personality. So I saw my sister sewing and just for some odd reason was like, I think I want to try that. So I went out and bought I thrifted some women's clothing from the thrift store and began upcycling it for Ava, just to kind of learn the process, to get comfortable behind the machine. And the first thing I made was I took a women's like flannel skirt and turned it into a pair of pants for Ava. She put them on. She started posing. We were literally just in her bedroom. She was posing and kind of sat, walking around prancing. So I was like, oh, this could actually be something that we both could have fun doing. That next spring, I kind of went, bought fabrics, sat in my living room and I said to myself, I'm not going to buy her anything for the spring and summer. I'm going to make all of her clothing. And that's exactly what I did. And 6 years later, we've still been doing it, having fun, and just spending a lot of quality time throughout the entire process.
That is so cool. I love the concept of combining an activity that keeps you engaged, but also quality time with Ava.
Yeah, I never would have imagined that we've been, one, doing it this long, and two, just kind of the conversations and to see her confidence kind of grow from the start till now. That's been the best part for me.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like there's been growth for you because being creative has been part of who you are. What are some of your creative outlets outside of sewing?
So, and this is kind of funny. Like recently, I really kind of realized like I kind of put creativity into everything that I do. So I love to cook, which obviously involves different ingredients and seasonings. But just recently, I probably say last month, I kind of really realized like how creative I try to get in the cooking process also.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when I was a kid, I loved to color. So I still enjoy doing that. Anytime I can go to like a painting class. Last month, I've really gotten now into, I enjoy making candles, but for me, I think the best part is actually mixing scents. I'm like obsessed with doing that now.
That is so cool.
Yeah, so for Christmas, me and my fiance had actually like made candles for our families, and at first I was like, "Oh, you can go ahead and do it." I was kind of focused on other things, and then I was like, "Well, wait, can I do the scents?" So I sat and just kind of infused different scents. I think we came up with like 5 or 6 different scents. So I'm definitely looking to kind of explore that more this year.
Very cool.
Um, yeah, I bought yarn to start trying to knit. I just haven't sat down and actually done it yet.
That's amazing. I like to get creative in the kitchen as well. And Kristen is maybe the most creative baker I know, who, especially during COVID, she's always stepped up her game and tells me stories every week about what she's baked.
I try. It's been fun. I got a cake plate display for Christmas. So now just everything I bake goes into this display. I made biscuits that just look like little pale biscuits on a cake display. Here for it. I love that.
It's so neat to hear about another creative minded, someone who's just creative in a day-to-day basis, because that's how everyone can be creative. It doesn't just have to be being Salvador Dali or Pablo Picasso. It can be a creative day-to-day thing, and you've taken it and really run with it in so many ways.
Yeah, I always say like I'm very blessed that one, I kind of get to combine it with my experience as a father.
Yeah.
Which is truly what kind of drives me throughout this entire process. If I was just doing it for myself, I probably, I wouldn't be as enthusiastic and I maybe wouldn't even still be doing it per se. The fact that I get to do it with Ava That's literally the best part for me.
Yeah. And now that Ava's older and she's definitely got more of her own personality and sense of self, does she get more of a say in the designs or does she take part in sewing too?
Yes, Ava is very opinionated. I kind of learned it early on. I would say probably when she was around like 5 or 6. I was kind of taking my ideas. She would go with me to the fabric store and show me things that she liked. But one time I was making her, I believe it was a dress. And, I had my idea. I'm going through the process. And she came to me and wanted me to change something. So I was like set on my vision. And I was like, well, I'm going to make it this way. She said to me, she was like, but I'm the one wearing it. So I had to take a minute and be like, okay, hold on. She actually has a point here.
That's great.
Now she is very involved. She helps with fabric. She comes to me with design ideas, styling. She, picks jewelry and shoes and even like where we take photos. Like we basically collaborate throughout the entire process.
She's your co-creative director. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So as a creative person, it's always interesting sort of sourcing inspiration. And you've been doing this for over 6 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you get inspired? And I guess how do you and Ava get inspired to create new looks, new designs?
I literally found inspiration everywhere. It could be on television. It could be, well, when we could freely go outside more.
Yeah.
Walk in the streets. Sometimes even, walking through a retail store. Like I will pick up something. I'll, look on the inside to see how it's finished. Try to figure out how it's constructed. Ava too, a lot through television. She will see, she loves the Disney Channel, so she'll see kids on Disney Channel where she's like, "Oh, Daddy, I love that." And so yeah, it kind of just comes naturally. The challenge is trying to keep up with every idea that I actually have.
We need to clone you or something.
Yes, because they come so frequently, and then I'm just like, okay, well, I want to do this, and then here comes something else. So yeah, it often comes to me, but also like social media. I'm generally inspired by women's fashion, like color blocking and mixing prints. So I just kind of transform that into something that's kind of kid friendly and appropriate for Ava's age.
That's a really fair set of points to make too. I think that's really wonderful though. And Kristen knows what it's like to work with creative people. We both as stage managers deal with the creative flow all day. And it's really tricky to say what's an idea versus what's an idea you really want to run with. And it sounds like you've worked it out though.
Yeah, especially with Pinterest. Like I go on Pinterest pretty much every day. And I just see so many things that I love. And I'm like, there's no way to make all of these things. Like there's just not enough time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Pinterest for that reason. Like I get so inspired through, so many different posts that I see. And some are tutorials on how to make something. And then some are just like fashion shots of, different people wearing different things that I just find intriguing and like want to make some version of that myself.
Yeah. And I also want to talk about you because you've made some clothes for yourself while making outfits for Ava.
Yeah, so that's been like my new interest. When I first started, I had no interest in making anything for myself. I think it was like 3 years ago, I actually had made us our first daddy-daughter outfit, and Ava like loved it. We went out, we got compliments, and she over the years kept asking me, when are we gonna do this again? When are you gonna make something for you to match me? And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do it. And then I would just be focused on making for her. So last year, I actually decided to start just putting more time and effort into that. It's her favorite thing. She loves the modeling, but when I can stand next to her and we can kind of have fun together, like that's usually her favorite part. So it's funny that now it's like all I think about. So when I make something, I'm kind of drawn to making sure I have enough fabric to make something to match for myself.
Is there a favorite outfit that you've sewn for the two of you?
Yeah, so in the summertime, I became a brand ambassador for Janome sewing machines, and I had to create like my first make for them. And I was just like so stressed out, like overthinking. and went to the fabric store and found this like beautiful floral fabrics. I'm drawn to like bright colors, bold prints, and that fabric was just perfect. So I made myself a pair of shorts and sewn like a strip of the fabric on a t-shirt, and then made Ava like a maxi dress that had like a ruffle bottom, and
I
just
think I saw that on the Instagram. Yeah.
just like the colors and the energy that like came from that fabric. I always say like I let the fabric speak to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's actually been the most like my favorite fabric I've ever worked with. It has pretty much every color. It's bright, it's bold.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been my favorite make to date.
Very neat. I'm so curious, like when it comes time for prom and everything, what that'll be. So do you
Yeah,
think you'll make the dress?
she. So literally the other day, Ava said to me like, "I always want to do this with you," and she has no clue what prom is, but hopefully, she'll give me that opportunity.
I love that. It's so interesting. Like, I don't know, Kristen, if you had to study costume design early in stage management, and part of what we do typically when you're learning stage management in school is you learn all the different elements of design. So you take a costume design course, and they also make you work in the costume shop. And I personally love the design process, but I could not thread a bobbin if you had like like something pointed at me. Like I couldn't do it. And I I don't know, maybe this is just me, but I love going shopping, not to buy stuff or try stuff on, but I love looking at a really well-made garment and how that process sort of worked. And it's so cool that you have not only the skill, but the drive to learn how to make those for yourself. And if you don't have the skill, you teach yourself. It's so remarkable.
Yeah, I'm very proud to be self-taught. It's
Yeah.
there are obviously courses out there. People go to school. For me, it's just a gift. From the time that I started, I just went straight to YouTube and Pinterest, and that's how I learned to sew.
That's great.
So there's kind of like I feel like there's a freedom in learning that way. Because to me, the people that were doing it, they were just fearless. Like they just cut into fabrics and just kind of did what they did. There are plenty of times that I started out in one direction creating something and it turned into something totally different. But to me, that's the joy of actually creating. Like you don't have to make the exact or the same version of something that's already out there.
Yeah. You make it
I don't,
yourself and with your personality in it.
yeah, like I don't really use sewing patterns. I've used a couple. I generally just kind of self draft and use things that like either I previously made or just sometimes just like the maxi dress I just spoke of. I started that from just using a t-shirt as just a guide to kind of get the basic shape and then went, with measurements from there. So
That's great.
yeah, I was surprised that it came out as good as it did.
Well, Michael, I can't wait to see more of the outfits that you create and the different adventures you and Ava have on Daddy Dressed Me. It's really been neat to sort of scroll through, and just hearing some of the stories behind them has been really great today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here with us today and sharing more about everything that you're doing. And good luck to you both.
Thank you.
Yeah. And from all of us here at Happy News Network, I'm Shayna. Have a happy day.